What's up, guys? Holy shit, it's been so long. I actually forgot even how to record videos, partly because I got a new one. I'm using Loom here as opposed to Screencast-O-Matic to record videos here. So hopefully this records properly. It's my first time kind of like, trying this out in this format. Um, but holy shit, I've been meaning to make this video for like legit like 2 months, and I just keep putting it off because I'm like, all right, I gotta get my thoughts in order. I gotta get my thoughts in order. So much happened until like pretty much we're getting into the bull market, and I haven't been able to make anything. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Even if it's a shitty take at me trying to capture my thoughts in one place, let me just give it a go and then see how it comes out. I open some tabs that can guide me. Hopefully, it's not too bad. So first of all, for the three people that watch this channel, nothing I say is financial advice. This is only for entertainment purposes only. And what I wanted to do in this video is really just kind of set the structure, as it's my first video in a long time, to just talk about some of the big narratives and my thoughts on the narratives and how I think what's going to play out. Um, and then we'll go into individual coins. And then in the end, I guess we'll end with what I'm looking into buy next, myself, and a few things like that. All right, so let's begin. Going into my portfolio here, I have it opened up. I'm going to talk about some of the coins I bought that did well, and um, and then they're the narratives they're like falling into. So first and foremost, my biggest position in this one is VitaDAO. So this is in decentralized science. If you haven't heard of this one, basically, just like all many narratives in crypto, that starts with decentralized, right? DeFi, decentralized finance. This is decentralized science. VitaDAO is a way where you're able to basically go into health, right? Their whole mission is to increase the longevity of human lifespan, and um, through this token you're able to make decisions on like what kind of what they should make, like basically what drug should get the investment, so to speak, right? So it's kind of like a DAO. I mean, it's not kind of, it is a DAO, right? So it collects capital, right? So it's like we can buy, and our money is going to be put into a central place, and then basically you can make votes on decisions in terms of like how it's going to be used. Now obviously the holders are not scientists, right? So we don't know exactly those kind of minute decisions, nor should it be. But you're able to make some, I believe, like how the way it works. I haven't actually executed any kind of, like decision making through my token holding. I'm just holding it as an overall governance token to see, obviously the price appreciation and stuff. But the way it's supposed to work is that you're they're going to be able to invest into ideas that can increase the lifespan of humans, and if they allocate their money well, then you can have winners that come out of this entire project. Now, what are my thoughts on decentralized finance? Before I get into this part, I'll just make a claimer, like a disclaimer. I personally have a lot of emotion attached to this project, or this category at least, for decentralized science, because I have a lot of health issues, and I've suffered for, I mean, a good part of my adult life in basically debilitating health illnesses and stuff like that, and whatnot. So anything I say here, take it with a grain of salt, because I'm coming from a place where I'm already very sick, and I see a lot of potential in this because it also personally benefits me, not just a financial thing, but it's also like a thing where I'm like, oh my fucking god, like please make this work, right? So basically, the idea, to say it in simple terms, is like this: the way I see it, many people are going, they have chronic illnesses, right? Severe chronic illnesses are there with a lot of people, and they are generally, I would say, one of the, in terms of tribes, right? Like I consider myself from that tribe, right? Like there's different parts. You could say I think I'm an entrepreneur. I classify myself as a sick person, but my strongest tribe personally I ascribe to is a sick person, right? It's like that's where I had the most difficulty and challenges in my life by far. In that sector of people, okay, there is a lot of things that come up as somebody who goes through the current systems in health where we have a lot of like just challenges, right? Like, why doesn't it like this? Why can we have something like this? Why isn't anybody helping with the XYZ way? Why aren't anybody or science working in any shape or form on this specific type of disease or this kind of thing? Because you come from that place, right? You're suffering from that, and that's how your life is shaped. Most of the time we have no clue. I mean, I don't even have any clue, right? I'm suffering from diseases for like 10 years, and I still don't have any clue like how it actually works, right? Who funds the stuff? Like, I don't know why they don't have any kind of research or any kind of understanding of what's going on with me or whatever, or any kind of like, answer for it. I don't know who's even making the shots. If some of this can move to this direction where it's decentralized, well, you can kind of see this stuff a lot more plainly, right? For one, a lot of the transactions will be in the blockchain, where the money is going to, period. That's in of itself really helps a lot, right? Who's getting money? What kind of ideas getting funded? Who and when already is like half the battle in life, like period, when it comes to this stuff, right? Instead of being like a confusing thing, like how it's going to work, it's like we will know which drug company is getting funded by how much and when. That's one. Secondly, it's going to be where a lot of stuff are not allowed in America, right? Most people, most people are lucky. They don't have health issues, right? If you're watching this, chances are you don't have much of a health issue, right? You might have some stuff you could improve on, but it's not like you're like bedridden half the time you're alive. So the thing is, you would not realize, especially in America, that there's a lot of people who are, right? There's entire Facebook groups that I spend a lot of time into where a big percentage of the people are horizontal life. That's how it is. Most of their life, they're horizontal. That's it. And it's all the stuff they do is horizontal. How do they watch entertainment while horizontal? There's a whole line of products just for them and a way of life just for them, right? Not really great. If those people had a way to take part, right? I'm not saying even like invest in get rich and stuff, even take part to have some control over their life in terms of like, hey, I feel like I have some place and a say in where the money flow goes to, no matter where it is. Doesn't have to be in America, could be somewhere else. I mean, in fact, I think it is going to be in other places by the mere reason that America doesn't allow a lot of this stuff, right? A lot of the brain implant stuff that are going to coming out, America's already putting a lot of pressure. Neuralink, the biggest one, they're having trouble in of itself to try to get this out, right? So if we can be in a position where this kind of stuff is like overseas and talented teams and doctors, right, contrary to the popular or American belief, it's possible to have other parts of the country, the world, to develop new strategies to heal people, etc. They might have not had a way to get funding, and now they will, right? People are going to be able to fund them no matter where they're from. It's a global wide race based on who can acquire funding for ideas, and you're going to be really graded upon your execution, I guess your doctors, your science, all that kind of stuff. So it's really exciting to be in that position, and it's pretty much the only project or sector in my portfolio that I have a personal vest in, whether financial or not. I honestly, like, if this works out, I don't really care. I mean, my holding on this one is 10K. If this was to go to zero, but this takes off, I would take that any day of the week, because that means that there's a mass race to heal people, right? Not making it a 70% political, 30, 20% entrepreneurial thing. It'll be closer to max entrepreneurial thing, right? It'll be based on the doctors that actually can heal people will be getting the funding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And just like anything else in the beginning, it could be a little bit wonky. There could be some shitty fundings and people take money and they don't get anything out, just the way the game goes. But eventually, in the long term, if we think about in 5, 10 years or more, the system is going to get a lot better. So that's my entire thing on decentralized science, and it's the only project I have. I've been holding it for a long time, so I think I've been holding this coin probably close to a year or more at this point, and it's one of the best performing ones. As you can see, it's the biggest one in this one. If I look at the all time, I bought it. I think I bought it around 70 cents. I don't know why it's not showing it. Yeah, like something seven, probably somewhere here. Like I did buy like pretty much the bottom on this one, which is why I got a good ROI on it. And we had a while there pretty much, right? So and it's a classic thing, right? It's like the one thing I bought without like financial gain is the one that performs best, and which is I guess things do work out like that many times. It's like if you look at your NFTs, some of the ones in the last cycle that did the highest ROI, it's the one that you actually bought. Where like, wow, this is actually kind of cool, and you got it and you held because you kind of like didn't check it every day because of price appreciation, and then it took off. This is kind of like what happened with this one. All right, so that's like 10 minutes on just that. So let's go ahead, move forward. TrueBit. So TrueBit, honestly, I don't know much about it. I bought it because one of the best performing guys in all of the people I follow said to buy it, basically, right? I know. That's not the good answer, but that's really what it is. I tried to look up their website. Yes, I understand the basics. It's some Ethereum scaling solution, but I don't really get it. I don't know what makes it special. I can't tell the difference between TrueBit and other scaling solutions. But it's a 2x, so I'll take it. Let's see. I think it's a 2x, right? Probably put like 5K in it or something, 6K, if I remember. Yeah, I mean, the grand scheme, it's like still down a lot, 60 cents. But I did get it like probably around here, like somewhere around like 80 cents to a dollar, probably. It might not be a clean 2x, might be like just 70-80% up, but I'm up on it regardless. So this one, I'm not going to go into it too much because scaling solutions, it's not one of the narratives I'm looking at in this cycle. It's just I have strong conviction on that person. So that's what that is. Moving on to Blocks Square token. So this one, I do have a strong opinion on. I think this is the one, right? So in the line of narratives, AI, crypto gaming, and real world assets. I think real world assets is going to be the best performing one. I was battling with this literally in the last couple of days, thinking it's going to be AI, but looking through again, rereading a lot of it. I mean, yesterday I spent like 10 hours just from morning till nighttime, just going through previous tweets, research, reading, and I mean, my back is hurting like all day sitting and just like really thinking about just this one question. It's like, what's going to be the biggest narrative, and trying to understand it a little bit deeper. And although in terms of real world asset itself, I haven't gotten much into in terms of like all the projects in it. I will mention a few in this video, but I'm pretty confident if all I did, and I'm not going to do this because I don't know how to follow good advice, but I think it would be good advice, right? If I had to really be able to do this, I think it would be great if I could do it, which is just pick real world assets. This is hard to do because we don't want to miss out. We don't want to miss out on AI coins. Those might go crazy. But real world assets is going to be big enough. There's enough evidence. It's going to be big enough. You can talk about Larry Fink from the traditional world, right? BlackRock. I mean, who else is bigger than that? He's on it. You can talk about previous people who have actually crushed it. Beanie's on it. Many people who have insane track records are going heavy in real world assets. So you have that entire angle. And then also it just makes sense in the sense like it seems like a category that would have that layer system well built in. So let me show what I mean. Block Square is the one that I'm holding. Again, it's the one people that I follow. I think they're going to execute it pretty well. I've been following them for some time. I bought Block Square a while ago, again, like a year ago, which is why, again, it's one of the ones that are performing pretty well for me. I think it's like around a 2x for me on this one. The portfolio overall is around a 2x. I think at the bottom, it was like around 30-ish K. It's around 70-ish K. It's around like 2x, maybe slightly higher, slightly lower, something like that. So many of the top coins did about like a 2x, right? The Um, Real world assets, in simple put, again in layman's terms, is right now there's a lot of stuff in the real world that you can own, but it's like hard to monetize because it's just a complex item, such as a house or a really big building, let's say. I think there's like more use cases with that. Let's say a complete apartment building. Some big guy comes and whatever they do, take out loan and debt, and then they buy the whole thing with a small amount of their own capital, whatever smart people do. They do that thing, and then they rent out all the homes, and then they have a long-term investment. Great, cool, okay. Transaction wise, it's very it's like one major transaction once in a while, right? Done by few people, percentage wise, population wise. 300 people in America. How many people buy a huge building? Not a lot, small. So it's like you look at all the sectors, right? Number of people, number of times the transaction happens. These are all like pretty infrequent. Number of people is not a lot, small. Number of transactions happening, small. Big item buildings doesn't happen as common, right? As many other things that you can buy, let's say apples in the grocery. If they're all in the blockchain, well, one, again, first and foremost, at least these units could be completely different. For example, the one person that buys it could be many, because it'll be that asset could be broken down into small pieces, whether it's using things like NFTs, or similar to NFTs, because it's like a non-fungible kind of asset, right? It's like one of a kind, so to speak, whatever. If it's that kind, that's the way it's tokenized. Many people can get together and buy the building, right? I don't have $10 million. I don't have $100 million, but I got a couple $1,000. And if there's a couple thousand people who can put a couple $1,000 together, there's a way to do that very easily. We can go to on chain, pool the money together, and buy an asset, and whatever the rewards are would be distributed amongst evenly. You can get that return that you would get when you're a whale as a shrimp. Boom, right from one unit change, it opens up that kind of use case. So if so now think about it with different assets, right? Cars, right? I'm assuming the big markets are going to be the big markets, right? I'm like what I mean is like biggest markets in USA or biggest industries. What is it? If you just took it like, okay, transportation, the use of air travel, you get the point, right? I mean, anything that's where you possess a asset and are able to get a use case out of that asset, right? Construction, a tractor is very expensive. You buy a tractor as a big company because you need it every day. A small guy needs a tractor one time a month. If it's in the blockchain, he can rent that tractor out on chain like easily and go use it for that one time without having to buy the entire thing. And that company that owns it gets to get a return on their tractor that they bought without having to, because on their off day they're not using that tractor on a Sunday, and the little guy is using it, then they get a return out of it. You get the idea, right? It's like this is kind of like how it'll go. Now, the other thing is we are talking about the units here. It's like we talked about the one person becomes many, and also the other thing that can happen is just to be able to break down an asset into many different parts, right? You start playing with this variable, you can start picturing that how there's so much more way to monetize and get more like use cases out of existing assets already, right? So we're familiar with all the projects that are using like bandwidth, right? Now we're getting more into that direction with AI and stuff, but bandwidth was a pretty easy concept to at least understand, even last cycle, right? Like, hey, I have a computer. The computer's not always using all this power. Okay, if I'm going to like be in a network like Tor, one of the oldest ones, I'm basically, like basically I'm in that network and providing the compute, that the excess compute that's available in my hard drive or my computer. Well, similarly, at a bigger scale, it's like all the assets that you currently have. I think there's the entire market just for all the assets people have that they're not fully using, right? Even like all the way in the micro level, right? Your neighbor's lawn machine, they can easily put it on, and in that radius, anybody can come pick it up, and it'll be like, this is basically the direction I'm thinking now, without getting too lost in like all these kind of small stuff. um, Real estate is the obvious one. It's the biggest one, right, by far. The real estate is like the 800-pound gorilla, and if I'm going to be investing in this, I'm going to be going into real estate more than likely. More than likely, it's like, if I'm going more into real world assets, and let's say that was my only narrative that I'm only focusing on for this entire cycle that we're about to get into, and this is like what I'm going to do to get rich. This is where most of the returns are going to come from. What I would do is be like, all right, who are the contenders that is best fit to capture and possibly become the leader in real estate within real world assets, is the way I would think about. And then and you know how the rest of it goes, right? You just have to be one of the contenders, right? It's like, who was the last performing coin from last time? Well, many people at the top of their mind would say Solana. Well, who are the top contenders though? It's like, there was a meme like Solunavax, Solana, Luna, Avax. Okay, if you picked one of them, any one or the other, would you be disappointed? No, I mean, they all did 100x. You would have been fine. So that's how I would think about it. And if you can basically go heavier in some of the big ones, then you'll be good. Now, having that said, before I move on to the other part, let me just quickly go through some of the big real world asset tokens that I'm looking into that I'm bullish on. So Rio came number one when I did the which tokens are undervalued, and all tokens that like I looked at for the last like year that I'm like been following in this document and whatnot. Rio is number one. Rio is the most undervalued. Okay, it's the one that I already got a 3x on though, right? So it's already up 3x. I only had put $1,000 in Rio and it went to 3,000. This is the hard part of this game, right? It's like the ones that um, can run the most, but when they're tiny, do you believe it enough? Or is it just another one that's going to go to zero? So, but it came the most undervalued, and technically, I guess I could make the argument that even I should be buying a little bit more of it in these prices. I think Rio is consolidating. Wow, 40K looks nice, guys. It's been a ride, man. Holy shit. I've been from death and back, literally. Financially, and so I got Rio, around 20s. It's around 60. I got a 3x. This dip happened. I didn't even know. Like I wasn't even paying attention. Um, around October 20th is like, it's kind of weird. Right around my birthday is when the market shifts. Even last time, guys. Like this is crazy. My birthday is October 20, and if you look at, I mean, this one doesn't capture it. Where's October here? 20, like, look at Bitcoin, look at October 20ish. It's like around when last time when things started to go south. This time is when things started to go up. So one thing, my birthday is like, my birthday gift should be like, have you been suffering for the last year? Well, things are about to turn around. This is like a thing to keep in mind. Anyways, I digress. Rio is, it says 3 million here, but I don't think that's correct. I would go with this one. It's around 30, 40 million market cap, fully diluted market cap. And I think it's undervalued still, my opinion. Okay. Would I go heavier in this personally myself now? Maybe a little bit, right? So I could throw another $1,000 in, but I already have 3 grand in it. And if it is really undervalued, it could take off the way I think it could take off, and with the entire move. By the way, real world assets didn't move yet, right? This is like nothing, by the way. right? AI has moved a little bit, right? It's not nothing. Many AI coins already doing 30x. Real world assets, not at all. Like if you look at the average here, like 20 cents for one of the best projects, um, is what is this? 3x, 4x. Even if you got in the bottomish and stuff like that, um, which like I would go from here. This is too crazy. I mean, I don't think there's not a lot of people that could get it here. But let's say people who bought here around like 70, 80 cents, close to a dollar. No, what am I saying? Like close to like 10 cents. It's like a 6x. In AI, in this kind of same kind of parallels, we're almost like at a, like probably average 20, 30, 40x, right? I don't think real world assets moved at all, and they are going to move. There's no question on that whatsoever, right? Like the real world asset as a category is gonna go ballistic this cycle. I'm like 100% confident on that. Whether Rio is gonna be one of the leaders or not, I'm not obviously 100% confident that. Otherwise, I'll go into it with my like a big like my entire portfolio and stuff. But um, but yeah, you guys get what I'm talking about. So some of the other projects is gonna be, let's see, let me go back. So many good projects. Space. Where is the okay above the line? Because I'm looking for a very specific one. PROPC there. See, I even put it. I was like by October, November. It's 14 million. What you might call it? Market cap, right? What is it right now? Let me see. Probably still around the same. $20 million market cap. This one is, I think, the second most undervalued project in real world assets. PROPC. I think this is the second most undervalued. Okay. Rio, PROPC. These are really, really solid projects doing similar stuff. If we will check out their website. So it's kind of like a holding company, right? Like, let me see. How do I explain it? I don't even know how to explain this one. How it's different from BST. But PropChain was conceived as a bridge Verigab by integrating blockchain trust, transparency, et cetera, from bricks to bytes. I like this picture. It's pretty cool. Like you see, like what we were kind of talking about 5 minutes ago, solutions fostering, integrated approach. So, they're going for the same exact market, which I just talked about, right? Real estate. And the if you see, found a home you want to own, right? That's like the thing we were talking about also. Institutional grade. This is, I briefly mentioned it, but didn't go into it. This is like one of the reasons why real world assets, why I think it is the biggest one in terms of the narratives, is because it's that layered system, right? It's like, who would buy this token now? Well, people like you and I, right? Normal people, retail people, maybe some VCs and stuff like that. It's like still kind of like small. Well, 14 million, 20 million, 100 million market cap, it could be in this. Who's going to buy it once it's billions, right? 1 to 10 billion, 10 billion to 100 billion and plus. I mean, institutions, a lot of them were not going to come into something if it doesn't probably have like 100 billion at the least, right? Like if you think about it, ETH makes it in many institutional like eyes because it has that level liquidity. And then Solana is, even though it has all this promising stuff, etc., it's still in a very small like sector of institutions, right? They're not really like they wouldn't touch it. 20 billion market cap, still they wouldn't really touch it probably. Other than obviously the VCs and stuff like that, right? This the tokens would have to become huge, and the asset entire opportunity would have to be insane big for them to feel comfortable enough to put so much money in, right? So this is like a two-way street. Institutions are already wrapped around real estate. It is the one of the biggest markets in humans, period, right? Homes are pretty much the biggest thing a lot of people purchase in their entire life. And that's where Wall Street lives and dies. A whole part of their thing is real estate. And then institutions as a whole is coming into crypto more. I mean, literally as we speak, ETFs are on the, in the coming in the coming month or two, we're going to get a possibly an approval for an ETF. So it's like, it just makes sense right after this, right? Like, hopefully, I don't know if I'm doing a good job, but it's like, basically, this is how I sold the narrative to myself as the number one. It's like, after institutions come in, they always want to play, right? They don't want to only hold Bitcoin and Ethereum too. They always want to play. We think we're only the degens. They're also degen. That's how all these guys got in trouble last time, right? Kevin O'Leary or whatever, Shark Tank guys, all these people, all this other so forth, like well managed, high net worth suits and ties guys. All they make it sound like they're such, I don't know, quote unquote responsible people, whatnot. I'm not saying you're irresponsible by going into this. I'm just saying that they're going to get into stuff. They're not just going to be like, when they come in, they're not going to be just like, oh, okay, we finally bought Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then that's it. That's where we draw the line. They're going to be like, no, like, how do we get into this thing? How do we become a leader in this thing? How do we make this, part of their plan to also make billions and billions of dollars, right? And this just seems like it's all the stuff is kind of just like aligned already for it to just merge. Like, the tech just has to bridge the gap. Few things on the legal side and stuff like it has to bridge the gap, which is Larry Fink. And, as long as their pockets are in line, they're going to bend the laws and stuff to make it happen, as it always does. And it's like just perfect. It's just going to fit like what's the saying? A hand fits in a glove, so to speak, right? So I think that's it is. Now, I'm not saying, if you're going to do this only do in real estate, I'm going to have to see other projects what they're into. But the way I'm looking at it, it's pretty much this. It's like, go into real world assets, go into all the people who are mentioning it properly, who's doing the deep research, follow them closely, and then, get more into the projects. As you can see, I'm barely still surface level with everything I've still looked at. It's kind of just like trying to shape the direction still. Like, okay, real world assets is important. And then keep going until I'm like, all right, it's very important. Keep going, and then I'm like, all right, it's number one. I can say it's number one. It's the most important. Next is going to be more deep into which projects, how they're doing, how they're thinking about it, which people are bullish on it, who are the people who's been in the space in the conversions of blockchain and real world assets before crypto. Like, what are their thoughts on it, stuff like that. All of these things will have to align, and then the projects that have seemingly all those major bullet points will make a short list. This is what I'm looking to do over the next, let's say, month, hopefully, right? Month or two, right? Probably like around 100 hours of work, I would say, if I had to estimate, of like pure, deep research and going into it. But without spending more time, that's what I think will be the biggest narrative in this cycle. All right, so let's see what else to talk about. 30 minutes. And there's still a lot to talk about, right? Ator, TED, Scale, Katana. Let's talk about some AI projects as, I guess, a video after so long, and then not mentioning about the projects. Man, 40 Clay. As soon as I said it went down, but it feels I don't know if this happens to you guys. I feel like a pinch in my heart because it's been so long since I saw that number. Categories, and then let's look at AI. Price change. Man, they got so many categories here. Generative AI. No, that's not what I'm looking for. All right, let me try this again. Part E. What is going on, guys? All right, 1 second. All right, so um, I had to move over to CoinGecko because CoinMarketCap is being an idiot. Okay, let's talk about it, guys, because I have one of the biggest misses on this one. So I'm sure if you've not been living under a rock, if you're in crypto Twitter at all, you've probably heard of Tau. And at this point, I'm kind of getting annoyed at listening to it because I missed Tau like the biggest miss ever. I even made videos in this channel before where I talked about that Greg Osuri, owner of Akash, AKT, is awesome. He has called many projects in the past, and he's a developer. He's the owner of that project, but he gives shout outs to other projects because a person who makes a project and is in the leading forefront of a particular sector has a really good idea on other projects and how they're doing because they actually understand the tech because they can create it. I had mentioned that this guy, 99.9% of the time, is always talking about his project. He's always shilling his project, obviously, because he's the owner. He's obviously shilling his project. He's going to be talking about good things about his project. But that 1% of the time, he talks about other projects. Pay attention, because there's a good chance that project is epic. He barely ever shills any projects. And guess what? He shilled Tau. He came out and kind of just said like, there's some tweet if you look back, like about a month ago, he was just like, Akash and Tau. Obviously, he put his one also there. It was like AKT and Tau is positioned blah 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 in a possible way in AI. I saw the tweet and I was like, interesting, Tau. I went and looked at the I went and looked at the coin, and I saw the market cap, and I know it sounds hard to believe, but about like a month ago, like just a month ago, we weren't this bullish. And I saw the market cap, I was like, it's a little bit too big, right? Used to buying tokens so lower, bear market, and I skipped it. Motherfucker does a 5x on my face like in less than, I think, a week or two. It just went straight from $50 to what, $250? Man, look at this. This looks like puny now. I was literally like right here, like a day or two before or something like that, like right around my birthday again. Look at this. Like this is the birthday here. I should have put it together. Hey, it's your birthday, Greg Osuri. It's at 0.1% of the time when he's shilling another project. Ape, go in. $50. This thing pulled crazy numbers. And that's that. And rest is history. Like, can you buy it? They're saying it's going to become the next thing. It's going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum, then Tau. It's too much, guys. I don't think so, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, I don't want to make anybody not buy it. Whenever projects take off with such force, chances are it's going to keep going up because it comes from proper tech. Because the guy who mentioned it knows it inside out, basically, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't have mentioned it. So it's not like a shit coin just making a good run, then it might dump or something. Yes, there could be corrections, but long term, it's probably very bullish, probably extremely bullish for Tau. And if you're somebody who's like, I guess like not playing with shit coins and you're looking to get some mid caps and hold them like for longer time periods so they can become, something big. Because you're like thinking, should I get Tau versus let's say like some other bigger cap like Matic or something like that? Then yeah, in that way, I would say if there's a big correction, like if there's like whatever this percentage is, this to this, 250, similar kind, like it's gonna probably take off a little bit more. And let's say like it goes to 500, it goes to like from 500 come back to like I don't know, 250, 300 ish. then probably a good time to DC in, and then that's it. It's probably going to go higher and get into 5-10 billion, if not more. But that's that. So let's go back. That's my biggest fumble when it comes to the entire AI thing. Um, I mean, that's my biggest fumble period. I think in the entire, other than not getting RNDR when Male said it, like in end of the year, I didn't get any. Even though the guy called it like pretty confidently, I didn't get any. And then, lo and behold, RNDR again is pretty at the top. So yeah, I mean, okay, let's just. I missed good shots. Okay, let's carry on here. Fed, big market cap. It's already half a billion. I'm not getting into these. These are already pretty big guys. I know bull market is near, and like if you think about it, at this time Solana was $3 last cycle. Then it went to like 250. That's true. But Solana is the biggest sector in crypto. Layer ones. No matter what, that is still the biggest one. Right? Anybody who questions that, just look at the top 10 crypto. Right? Layer one is still the biggest narrative in crypto. Now, this is a new sector. AI is the biggest thing after the internet. Right? So like, not to go and spend another 10 minutes talking about how bullish you could be for AI, because I think if you're watching this video, you're in crypto, you're already bullish on AI, right? Like, there's going to be thousands of projects. It's not even hundreds. It's going to be 1,000 projects that's going to do 10x plus. There's going to be probably hundreds of projects that do 30 to 50x's. Hundreds. In this cycle, there's going to be so many projects that's going to do that. So if you're thinking of it from the standpoint of like, hey, this is how I'm going to do my mid caps for AI is right here. Literally all you need. It's the top ones this week. Take a snapshot and you'll be good. Tau, RNDR, FET. These three are the biggest ones. Pretty much. You don't need, like, if you talk about mid caps, it's like, hey, look, a year from now, which ones are going to grow? I don't need 30x's, 50x's. I'm looking for a 3x, 5x comfortable holds. This is probably what you're looking at here. And you could be comfortable right there. But if I'm going to be in the AI space, I am looking for those 30 to 50x, especially in the AI space, because it's so like, it's like, there's not another perfect scenario. I was talking a little bit about how real world assets is the perfect scenario in that institutional way, right? Money flow, it's like old world meets new world, right? That's how it's like in a perfect sense. But the way AI and crypto is like, the analogy I'm having a hard time putting it, but it's like if the internet had its counterpart, right? It's like we as human beings are trying to commingle with the internet and stuff, and having this block because we're just like this dumb creature that's moist and shit like that and can break and die and whatnot. When it comes to AI and you extrapolate it out, right, with everything else that's going on with AI, right? I'm talking about like outside of crypto, everything that's going, all of that stuff is going to merge together, right? Like, I am personally in the short term, not short term, but short term, let me use my words properly. In short term, we're talking about coins that's going to go 30, 50x that we're looking to. That already started, right? That's like, we're already kind of like need to go into that, right? And dive into this 4 hour 30, 50x's. Medium term, I would say like 5 years, right? Five years, what I'm very excited about is when we're gonna finally have some some of this in the physical side, right? It's already taking off in the digital side, like no other space. AI is already booming to the point where you can't even keep up, right? I mean, I have an agency normally, right? And I'm like, my team members are like, okay, oh, this is new AI thing. I'm like, don't talk about AI. I'm like, let it calm down first. Let it calm down first, and then we'll go into it. Because, we're just keeping things kind of smooth, whatever. and don't want to overcomplicate stuff, would make more work for us and stuff like that. And then like learn this new tool, and we're going to replace how we do XYZ in our in the agency. And then after like 2 months, it's like obsolete, and then like we have to like learn another way because it's much better or something. So I'm like, just put things aside. We'll get into it when we get into it, whatever, like that, right? And that's been going like that for like over a year since ChatGPT came out. So just to give you a context, like how it's like it's been an explosion in innovation, if you want to put it, or people getting into it and creating with it, et cetera, since ChatGPT came out, and it hasn't slowed down. And now you combine that where these projects are going to be able to have money involved, like bots are the first example of it. Like trading is a good example of it. Like, like if you look at all these trading bots, like Banana, bots such as, Unibot and stuff like that. These are probably a good example of the first convergence between AI and crypto. It's not that they're using artificial intelligence for these bots, but it's going to get there. It's going to get to a point where they're going to take the data analysis, and soon we're going to start getting bots that can analyze a lot of these data and tell you what trades to take, because money is a good use case. So we never forget that. Sometimes we forget that in crypto because all this real world assets coming out, AI is coming out. Don't forget, money is the biggest use case. How to make more money is the biggest use case. That's why we're all in crypto, right? I mean, long term, a lot of us enter the space because we have, other than money, we have that need. Aside from all that stuff that we hate the current system, that we hate the government, and all that kind of stuff, which is goes without saying, the biggest use case anybody is in crypto is to make money, obviously. And AI is going to help you do that at a mass scale, right? People soon, right? It might have already started taking off. Maybe I just don't know those projects yet, right? But I think we're either already started or soon going to be in a position where there's going to be bots that's going to use a lot of data to analyze that and make decisions. And why AI is going to be involved is because it's not going to be if this then that. It's not going to be like, this wallet bought this, so I'm going to buy this. It's not going to be just if this then that. It's going to be like, wallet is weighed like this versus also these people saying these things are weighed like that, and these people following the project is weighed like that. And you can go into that in the 1,000th degree. So if you think about it, I just said 3 things: people who bought it, people who followed the project, and other wallets who bought it, and how you weigh it. And if you do that times 1,000 parameters, that's too much for the human to do. But if there's an AI and the model is tweaked overall so it can analyze all those parameters real time and then buy them, because now it has money, you can actually give the machine money so it can execute on behalf of you, right? And it's just like your partner that is building a portfolio. This is kind of like going to be the biggest use case. Personally, this is where I'm very interested in getting. And we're going to get into some projects, soon here, so I can talk about which ones I'm like, bullish on, stuff like that next, whatnot. But just to give you a context, like how this is converging. And I think it's like important to kind of understand like the different layers of this kind of thing and why it's so big, right? It took me a while to say that, just picking between which one is going to be the biggest. Like if I had to pick one, I would still pick RWA, real world assets. I think there's going to be enough innovation there for you to make, countless 50 to 100x. So there's no question about how many projects can take 100x, right? We're just talking about 2 different sectors. But having that said, they're both going to be huge. They're going to both pull the market cap of the entire sector to another dimension, right? Other than just Bitcoin, Ethereum, and layer ones becoming much bigger over the next 1 to 2 years, these 2 narratives, each in of itself, is going to pull in billions and billions and billions of dollars into the market in so many projects that are puny right now or not even started. Okay, with that being said, let's now get into I take a pause there because I was just like, should we talk about the project itself or talk a little bit about how this all is going to tie in together? How this is all, everything I'm talking about is going to tie in together. Let's talk about the projects first. Then we'll end with that. 50 minutes, we'll end at an hour. That's probably right around my normal, how long I take anyway. So let's talk about some projects with AI. Um, okay, let's see which pumped hard. And CoinGecko, let's see which ones are um, not categories. How do you do the? I think the whatchamacallit. There we go. Gainers and losers. Last 60 days. Yeah, CoinGecko is better than CoinMarketCap, man. CoinMarketCap interface is better, but CoinGecko is better. So far, okay, Research Coin, that's AI coin. Near AI, two. Two that I know. Other ones might be that I don't even know, but two that I know is AI. IXS, three. Track, Ordi, Beam, PAL, four. Four coins already in the top that performed very well. We're talking about 30x's, 23x here, 13x in the last 60 days. And some of these, did more than what you're looking at here, because if you got it like Paul, how many x is it from the bottom, which is probably like not even that long ago. Yeah, July, like 6 months. It was like a cent, not even 0.001. Right now, wait, what is that? I don't even know. Let's see. 0.16 cents divided by 0.0015. 0.0015. 100x. So the people who bought here, it's probably not a lot, but there is going to be some. This was trading. You can see the price changing. This fucker's got 100x already on this thing, man. So you get the idea, right? AI is already pumping like there's no tomorrow, and it's still sorely. It's crazy. Now, to talk about the project. Okay, so let's go into AI projects. So we talked about PROPC. I think this is also Amino is I thought I pulled that up. I did. Okay, Amino. It's not AI. It's a different thing. It's move to earn. One of those, it's to if you exercise, you get coins. Um, I think this is going to be still a big thing in this cycle. I bought this coin, and just like last time, like STEPN, getting people to do shit, and giving them an incentive to do it is going to be a big thing, right? Whether it be drive and you'll get tokens, exercise and keep yourself healthy and you'll get tokens, and you can, if you keep talking about the different sectors, how it's going to come together. Let's say an insurance company, a health insurance company will give you a discount on your health insurance because they know you're doing this activity, and the discount is given in the tokens, right? It's like perfect, like, perfect match. Like there, is it going to happen? It's just ideas of how all of this can intertwine, but we'll get to that in a second. The AI projects that, other than PAL, is, let me see, because there's quite a few that I've already noted here. Layer 1 coin, apparently it's the first fully free Layer 1. Could be big, who knows. MTRG, where's all the AI coins? Can't even find in here. Let's see. Old list. Ocean is kind of AI, but it's an old project. I'm not getting into that. Some of the old projects, pumped a lot, but I'm staying away kind of from last cycle's coins as much as possible, unless it's like all the VCs are aligning. OLAS, right? I hold this one. This one is, a lot of people are saying it's in the same sentence with Tau. And if you look at what they're doing, it's pretty interesting. So let's see. I mean, really, the keyword in this entire thing is right here, autonomous agent. This is kind of like what I was talking about like 2 minutes ago, right? Like how this is integrating the entire thing. The whole world is, like over. They're already hot on this AI move, and the hotness is not gonna calm down for some time because it is that hot, right? This is like the hot thing, meaning if this one plays out the way it could, then um, I mean, it's kind of reshaping what is the definition of a human being, pretty much. If you take it to its full thing, it is everything, right? Like it's kind of weird, but like I'm talking about this is outside of crypto. This taken to its full extreme, it's basically being able to change all our stuff, all our problems, right? Like fix all our health issues, all of it, 100%. Get a new unit. That's when you get into the weird levels, the Elon Musk levels and Joe Rogan podcast levels. But it's all in there, right? And it's all possible in our lifetimes. So the way that crypto plays a part is to just add massive fucking fuel to that fire, man. Right? Funding for all these projects. Obviously, it's going to start how it always starts, with making money. Leverage. What is the highest leverage? Well, people who have already money, their highest leverage is making bets on the things that's going to make more money. That's leverage. So this is where it's going to start. The biggest use cases is going to be to make more money, just like it's outside of crypto. What's the biggest use case of AI right now? Well, it's businesses. Other businesses. Who is the biggest purchases of in the big scale? It's Microsoft. They bought OpenAI, put 10 billion into that thing. Okay, that's a big transaction. All right, that's big business. Well, how about small business? Well, small business also doing crazy with AI. How are they using it? Well, they're making it as little as like small guys like me are using it to write content and stuff. This is short-term stuff, right? This is just like super short-term, like one-dimensional, like just the puniest it can possibly be kind of stuff. You give it like 2-3 years, we're already like re-enhancing all the. I mean, digital side is explosion, right? Meaning like you have a to-do list, it's doing itself. Your shopping list is shopped. Is the bot is going and shopping your stuff, everything, and based on what you have low in the house and whatnot, and it has money. You can just feed it with Ethereum. That's where crypto comes in, right? Like the bot, if you think about it, like coding and just generally a program like a software is pretty weak because it's not human. It doesn't have agency in the sense that it can make decisions like we can. We can tell it what to do. Now, hopefully that stays true to a certain degree, but it's getting that freedom like elongated a lot, right? It's going to be going into all the other parts that we live in. And one of those biggest things is that we have money. We have this currency that's given by other humans that allows us to exchange it for almost anything else out there. Well, what makes difference between the bot? Well, the bot doesn't have that. Well, now the bot has that. The bot can get money and make its own decisions too. And you can just give it a goal, right? You can just give it a goal like, hey, I want to achieve this. Hey, I want to get XYZ. I want to, I want my business to work like this. I want to get this outcome, like whatever the goal is actually, right? Like I want to grow my business. This is the goal. It can make decisions on behalf of you slowly first, and then all of a sudden it'll feel like it's overnight. Now, I'm saying all this while I'm looking at Olus. I'm not pitching Olus. I hold this token, and I don't know how good is it going to be. I'm holding it. It's only I have, I think, what, PAL and Olus. These two I'm holding in the AI sector. We'll see, but I'm just giving you context on where we're headed. This video, as I'm getting first video in a while, kind of like overall broad topic, kind of lay out the foundation on like why is it a big deal? Like why is it a big narrative? Why is it one of the big narratives? because there's so many narratives, right? There's no end of narratives. If you just go into the crypto narratives right here, what is it, categories, what is it, there's like 100 narratives, and all of them are going to be big. Like all of them are going to become a lot bigger. You could make money in any one of them. You could pick like the weirdest one, like DeFi, and make 100x's on that. You could pick the just NFTs. Obviously people made 1000x's on NFTs alone, right? So any of these are enough. But the one that the couple that I think is the biggest and that will have the biggest impact, which means it's not just money, is decentralized science, real world assets, and artificial intelligence. These three, and out of these three, the biggest one I think real world assets, then AI, and then far smaller is going to be decentralized science. Just the way it is, people are just not that excited when it comes to health stuff because most people don't suffer from health, and health doesn't make money. It's like complex and it doesn't make the most money. Whereas focusing on making money makes money, right? Of course, putting a component on being able to make money makes it a lot better. Like, obviously the community of sick people wants the people to make money because we don't want the current system, right? We don't want the system where, we have these laws that you can't experiment on XYZ way or try these new drugs because of all these political reasons, all these conspiracy things that we're not even allowed to ask. Of course, we don't want it like that. We want it to be open and where anybody can have an idea on how to fix somebody else or a group of people, and they can get funded if they have the capacity, if they have the execution ability, if investors feel like they have the ability to do so, at least take a shot at it, right? That's big, but it's not. Do I think it's going to be big as taking the entire market for real estate into the into the blockchain? No. And it's going to be big as AI? No. However, it's, my opinion, is the top three out of all the other ones out there that will make the biggest impacts out there. And this is what I would like to see happen. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So lastly, I'll end with this, guys. We're already an hour, probably just a minute or two on where we're all headed. I mean, pretty much this whole video was a little bit glimpses of like where we're all headed with this, but I guess to try to wrap it up, a lot easier to feel happier when it's bullish, right? Like I wake up and I just feel more grateful as a person, but not to make it all cheesy, but if you just take a moment and think, like, what are the things that are going on? It's actually a pretty pivotal time in history. It's almost like we just gotta make it a couple more years to be alive, right? It doesn't matter even like this. We're talking about crypto here and making money and stuff, but it's like for all humans and Earth in general, just be able to be alive. Maybe 7 to 9 years, maybe 10 years. Let's say even 10. But early 2030s, we're talking about massive, like really good shit happening here. The Fed is losing power. Clearly, banks are failing, right? It's like all the stuff on the crypto ethos is real. All the reasons why we're here in the first place, why we even are in the space, why we came to the space and stayed in the space is coming in fruition, which is, I mean, like, aside from making the money, which we already talked about, that's where all our day-to-day focus is. But long-term wise, it's like, holy shit, it's really gonna happen. Wow. That in of itself is like, all right, the country is going to lose its power. And crypto is going to become, finally, it's going to become more accepted overall globally until it becomes this international vacuum that soaks in more of the global wealth. Boom, that's going on. In that cycle, at that same time, we have machine learning to the degree where we have stuff like ChatGPT, and this is like version 4. what do you think version 100 looks like? What do you think version even 10 or 15 looks like? What do you think it looks like when they finally have enough things in the physical realm? Right now, they're stuck in fucking this laptop thing I'm holding. When there's enough like functionality, whatever that looks like, I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be like some. I mean, there's a lot of companies that are working on it, right? Like they're jumping into it because these are billion-dollar opportunities. Great, great, great. We want them to get rich, filthy fucking rich. Obviously, right? Who would you rather have power? The government or people like Elon and people who are similar to Elon, tech people. Obviously, it's going to be the tech people. They're going to be able to make those shots. Now, when that infrastructure comes, the physical realm, like initially, again, it's going to follow through the same kind of stuff, like what's going to make money first. So like, for example, economy, first of all, like the robots, right? People who do work. Drivers for a truck, warehouse people that stock stuff. Because you gotta just look at where is like this 300 million people in America. I'm just using an American example. You could say worldwide, but people in general, where are they normally? Like where is their time going? Like, do you have to pay these people? Like, every single one of them have to get like paid like a lot of money, $40,000-$50,000 a year. Well, that's all the money that can be soaked up. So that's the first market, massive market. Obviously outside of crypto, but that's what like they're going for. A massive companies are going to be built that's like robots, right? Everybody can have one. You can have one. I can have one. I can have one in another room. They will cook. They will wash dishes. They will clean the floors, whatever like that. There's so many, like, I mean, it's endless use cases. It's just like saying what is the use case of another human being? It's like, what do you mean? It's like, if you have another person in another room right now, what is the use case? Like, what could you get done? It's like, what do you mean? Like, they could probably do all other stuff I don't want to do. It's like, all right, okay, cool. So that's probably a big market then. They're going to go for that. But after that, it's soon going to be where this is all going to converge, right? It's going to get to a point where not too long from now, right, the physical part is going to take a little while because it's like a lot of the market share you could be had without having that physical component. Because you could just make a lot better softwares, a lot better stuff. There's so many more ways, big markets to go after and make money without going physical, which is why it's going to take some time. It's really like I look at it like a money flow system overall, right? But it's going to get there because a lot of the economy is by human beings doing physical stuff with their hands and shit. So they're going to be replaced afterwards. But soon, in the next 5-10 years, I really think when this converges, especially with crypto and how way it's going to like be able to fund itself and everything, and it's going to like accelerate the growth, it's going to get to a point where all of the major problems that you have suffered from is probably going to get fixed. I have never felt more confident that I'm going to get fixed. I really think it's like an option, like a put option, like legit. This is how I think about it. Like, it's literally like a put option. It's like I'm long being alive. I'm long being alive. I think I have to make it like just till my 40s. Right? I'm 31 now. If I can just figure out a way just to be alive for the next 9 years and I don't die, which for me is a little bit hard because last year almost happened twice. But if I can do it, and somehow manage it with the current old system and doctors and stuff, I think I'm going to be alive. I think I'm alive for then on. I'm not going to say I'm going to live forever, but I think I'm going to be just fine. I don't think I'm going to keep suffering. I have never felt more confident about that. And this is not just decentralized science and Vita, and this is not just crypto, and this is not just AI. This is all motherfucking three together. This is the entire direction. I'm talking about we're going to be ending the entire cycle. Human suffering as a whole is about to go down. Happiness is a different shit. I hate that word anyways. It's kind of like a, hey, did you meditate? Did you exercise? Did you eat well? Do you have a good relationship with your partner? This kind of stuff. If you don't, then work on that shit. That's like a different thing. I'm not going to say happiness, we're all going to be happy, but I'm talking about suffering. Suffering is waking up and being in pain, not being able to breathe, not being able to have like basic needs in your body system. I keep on going back to health. I have to try not to because I end up going too much into health stuff. but just other stuff that you suffer from is we're pretty much going to enter this phase where that is like tanking, right? Like if you could short it, human suffering, I would short it here. I would start shorting it in 2023, and I would hold that fucking short for the whole decade until 2030, and then I would take profit, because I think we're gonna short the shit out of human suffering. So I think that's a fucking good note to end this video. Guys, if you watch the video, even if you watch a little bit, just put a comment. I mean, I guess you won't know. Gives me some, what do you call, pat in the back to want to do this again. It seems so much work and daunting. I don't even want to start. That's why I put it off. But as you know, the markets are taking off. Hopefully, I'll do a video at least a month. Hopefully, maybe even once a week, bi-weekly. I'll see how it goes. But with that being said, I'll end the video here. Thanks for watching. Peace.